All right, welcome into today's film session, and welcome back for those of you who caught our last film session of Matt Luke's impact on the Georgia offensive line in particular. But since then, since that video, we've had Jake Fromm declare for the NFL draft. We had Cade Mays transfer from the University of Georgia, presumably to Tennessee. And obviously, we've had the 3 offensive linemen already declare for the NFL draft. So it's been a whirlwind at the roster turnover, all abundant at the University of Georgia. So we're going to take a look today in today's film session, just offensively, who Georgia might look to replace those guys that are missing. And we're going to start at the most important position in all of sports, I personally believe, at the quarterback position. And we're going to start with the transfers. That is the hot topic nowadays. And we're going to take a look at 3 potential transfers, one of which is not in the official NCAA transfer portal because he's still at Clemson in Chase Bryce. So we're going to talk about all of these guys individually, and I'm going to tell you who I think is the best fit for James Coley's offense. Not who I think is going to end up at Georgia, but who I think is the best fit for James Coley's offense, and that is Jamie Newman. Look, if you followed any of my work, especially on social media, you can find my thread on why James Coley called a great offensive game plan in the SEC championship game, but he just didn't call it quite for the correct quarterback. Well, Jamie Newman would be the perfect quarterback for those plays, especially those mesh option and read option plays that we saw in the SEC championship game, and to also, complete some of the pro-style offense of game patterns and schemes, rather, that James Coley likes to run. The deep drive-in routes and deep overs and all that kind of stuff. You got to have big, talented arm power, and you've also got to have a guy who can go through reads and progressions. So we're going to see both of those off the jump with Jamie Newman. Here you're going to see a deep ball down the sideline, right? How often do you see James Coley identify man-to-man coverage and tell his guy to take a shot? So just imagine George Pickens, number 1, right here. So you better be able to throw a deep ball and B, a back shoulder fade. Here you're going to see the deep ball under pressure. Look at that. He's going to get pressure in his face right here, step into it, and deliver it down the sideline, a very catchable football for his wide receiver who won. And on the very next snap, you're going to see what we're talking about with this, quote-unquote dual threat and this dynamic ability. Look, this is a designed quarterback run for a guy who stands at about 6'3", 220, 225 pounds. So, this kind of stuff can happen. Look, he's going to take on contact there in the hole and continue to bounce off and run, and now he does get ran down, and this is ACC football, and this SEC football that he may or may not enter into at Georgia, hypothetically, is a little bit faster, and he does get run down, but watch the awareness at the end. This is a guy who's used to running the football. Check this out. He's just going to get out of bounds, avoid the hit, stay up, live to fight another down. These 2 clips right here are why I think Jamie Newman is the best option if Georgia were to go out and try to find a guy who can immediately fit James Coley's scheme while also, accommodate for moving to a more modern, more dynamic offense with a mobile quarterback. It's just good. I like this at the end. I know you can't talk about it enough. This right here, boom. Just avoid the hit, man. Get out of bounds. Love it. Next up, we got KJ Costello. And this is your quintessential pro-style quarterback, okay, 6'5". This is, not only a Stanford Cardinal, and no pun intended here, but this is a standing tree in the pocket, okay? Not very much mobility here, and, coming off of an injury might be even worse. So take a look here. This is just what he's made to do, stand in the pocket, drive the football. Got a big arm, as most 6'5" guys do, and he can drive that football. Okay, but this next clip I'm going to show you, by the way, I don't know what the heck UCF's doing right here. And they beat the heck out of Stanford this year, but I haven't seen this coverage. So what happens here is this guy breaks in, and he's told, I guess, to go find the flat, but there's only one wide receiver there, so he just makes a smart play and turns around, but still gets beat. Either way, driving the football here on 1st and 15. This, again, is a route that you've seen run 100 times in the Georgia offense, this deep driving in. And again, you got to be able to plant your foot, drive, and get on top of that football and rip that thing in there for a completion. And these are the good things that KJ Costello does. But if you're going to be a standing tree, you can't do what I'm going to show you on the next clip. All right, if you're going to stand in the pocket, and if you're going to say you're going to stand in the pocket, and if you're not going to be able to leave it, then you best step into your throws, and you best be a man about that pressure that's coming down that pipe, okay? You can't do this kind of stuff in SEC football. Watch him fade away from this football. Watch as he throws this. He don't step into that at all. He's all on his back foot, and watch the result. Watch what ends up happening. Ball's late, deflected, taken, back for 6. Thank you. Okay? Again, if you're going to be a stand-in target, if you're not going to be able to move, they're going to bring pressure. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So not pressure, just, pressure is 6. A 5-man coverage we're supposed to be able to take care of. Our 5-man blitz we're supposed to be able to take care of. When I say we, I mean the 5 down linemen in the back. With a 6-man protection, we better be able to pick up 5. But the pressure lands right here on 3rd and 1, okay? Well, they are bringing 6, but they're dropping that guy. He's playing almost as a spy. See the defensive end back over here? Either way, if you're going to get pressure in your face, you got to step into that. Be a man. Be all 6'5", and I know that's easy to say, sitting here being an idiot doing film breakdowns. But either ways, you got to step into that throw, deliver that football, because there ain't much space there, so you better drive it in there and fit it. You can't fade away from that ball and be afraid of contact. Taking a look at the in-state product, well, now at Clemson. Chase Brice, been there 3 years, will graduate this May. So he'll be available for a graduate transfer if he so decides. He has not made a decision. Obviously, Clemson playing in the national championship coming up this next season. But he's only really played a handful of games in blowouts and whatnot this season, and then in seasons past. Clemson famously and notably not necessarily the toughest schedule in the world, but one of his plays that stood out here in the spring game from this past season is something that he's good at. He's got the ability to extend plays with his feet. Okay, not a runner necessarily, but he does have this ability. Look, he's going through his reads, nobody open. I'm going to bail the pocket, and I'm going to make a throw on the run and give my guy a shot. And it's a pretty good guy. This is Justin Ross out here. I'm going to give my guy a shot in a scramble drill situation and a 50-50 ball here, and he's going to go up and make a catch. And you're going to see the replay right here. He's going to extend out. Look, everything's dead right here. He's covered right here on the original slant. This guy's open, but it'd be across his body at this point. So he's going to bail out of the pocket to his arm side and make a decent throw here. And this is something that Georgia's going to probably be able to do next season at the wide receiver position. Granted, they're going to be young, but look, so is Justin Ross. This is him in just his second spring game right here for Clemson. Okay, so you're going to have young guys, but you're going to have guys that can go up and get it, like George Pickens and, a guy by the name of Darnell Washington. And this is something that Chase Brice is going to be able to do. He's going to be a savvy, a winner, not necessarily from what he knows, but from a winning culture, right? He didn't go out there and necessarily win those games himself, but he knows what it's about. He knows how to prepare and go out there and be a starting quarterback if he so chooses to come down here, because he's probably going to have to definitely going to have to sit behind Trevor Lawrence for at least one more year. But Chase Brice has this ability and a savvy veteran presence. All right, next up we got Stetson Bennett. Now, Stetson's not, like anybody else on this roster. He's about 5'11", maybe 195 pounds. Looks like your everyday, average high school quarterback, but he plays like a veteran, savvy college quarterback at this point without taking very many Division I reps. And he's the elder statesman on the roster now, and not exactly knowing who's going to be available come spring practice. He'll likely have a good shot at taking the first reps come day one of spring camp. Now, this is, kind of the ceiling, and this is exactly how he has to win. You'll notice that he's identified man-to-man coverage at this point, and he knows he's got a single receiver side over here running the Dover, right, the deep in and over. We talk about this as a staple in the Georgia offense. I think that's Tommy Bush at the top. He's going to push all the way to about 15 yards and then get inside leverage and break an inward route, and Stetson Bennett's going to put the ball on him. Now, this is what I talk about when I say this is how this guy's got to win. A lot of young guys nowadays, they're going to leave the pocket eventually. They're going to make a play with their feet. They're going to make the quote-unquote off-platform throw. Stetson Bennett's going to win the old traditional way. He's going to step up inside the pocket to buy time, and then he's just going to deliver a strike, okay? It's not going to blow you off the screen with anything, arm talent, none of that. But you'll see Look, he worked through his progression. Watch him. This is a savvy move. Look, he's working down here. Now he's still working down here. He's probably checking number 1 out here. Probably sees number 2 getting rerouted right here. Now he's going to work all the way to the top to number 3. And I guarantee you, if he would have noticed Tommy Bush wasn't open, he'd have worked down to number 4, literally over here, number 4. But either way, Stetson Bennett, a guy that's going to work through his progressions. You're not going to get a lot of highlight plays from him, but you're going to get solid, protection of the football usually, even though he did throw a pick in his limited play this year. Taking a look at Dwayne Mathis now. Man, we're talking about a big, long, lanky, quarterback right here, stands tall in the pocket. He's got a little bit of, got some legs on him, but he's got more Trevor Lawrence legs, okay? We're talking about a straight line runner, a guy that can build up some speed and potentially run away from some people in some open space more than a twitchy runner, okay? He's not going to be, Lamar Jackson putting guys out, on their butt, twisting them and juking them and stuff like that. But we're going to take a look at his high school film here first. This is the best of what he does. This is the very first clip on his highlight tape for a dang good reason, and you're going to see it. This is what he wants everybody to know about him. If you ever watch him warm up, this is exactly what he wants people to know. Take a look at him. He's dropping back from about the 38-yard line, and that ball lands at about the 6, okay? This is Dwayne Mathis. This is what he wants to do. When he sees himself, when he dreams of number 2 throwing touchdown passes, this is exactly how he dreams of doing it, okay? He doesn't dream of, hitting the guy in the slant or hitting the guy in the flat and that guy making a guy miss and running. He wants to do this right here, okay? And he does it well, okay? He's got one of the stronger arms you'll probably ever see, as you see. This is him in high school. But, the immediate question you have to have about him, and you'll see it on the second clip as well, he'll evade, and this is what kind of, worries Kirby Smart, I would imagine, about him. This is a great high school play. This is probably a pick in college. You just take a look at him. This is hero ball from number 2. And it's, like I say, it's great stuff. This is how you become a 4-star prospect and a guy that's going to, commit to Ohio State, decommit, flip, and come to Georgia, okay? But aside from the health concerns leading into next year, this is what probably concerns Kirby Smart. It's ball management, right? Jake Fromm talked for years about protecting the football. This quite isn't it. But you know what? He's extending the play, throwing a ball 45 yards off platform for a touchdown. It's still pretty impressive and a heck of a job by that receiver over here of winning. Taking a look at the Mandarin High quarterback, Carson Beck. He's already enrolled at the University of Georgia. And one thing I like about Carson, the one thing that pops off the tape, is this, you can already tell, this is a 17, 18-year-old kid that is a student of the game, okay? What they're running right here at Mandarin High, and obviously whoever the passing game coordinator over here has, kind of figured something out. This is a college scheme right here. They're going empty. You saw LSU do this a lot with Jefferson out of the slot. This is just a slot seam is what they call it. It's one of the most popular plays in college football right now. They've got man coverage right here, or at least they think they do, and they do. Okay, this guy wouldn't be walked out with his head locked on number 2 out here if they weren't in man-to-man coverage, okay? So they're just going to run the slot seam out of empty right here and trust that this guy's going to outrun him. Now, the only problem is there's 2 safeties, or there's going to end up being a safety playing this half of the field over here. And watch the veteran move. This is how you know this guy has studied the tape and, he's been coached up, okay, nonetheless, if we can get it to play. Okay, watch his head, okay, the whole time. He is just now flipped. He's giving it 2 drops with his head working right. How many times have you seen Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, good quarterbacks do this kind of stuff? Head staring right. And what you're going to see is the safety's now moved out of your screen, the deep high safety, okay? But he was on this side of the field. And watch when you find him back in the clip what he's doing. He's flipping his hips now, having to work back over here, and look how this ball's placed. Boom. Perfectly where only his guy can catch the football. And again, this safety would be all over this stuff. He's playing the near hash into the boundary right here. Okay, these are wide hash marks in high school. Okay? The only reason that ball's caught is because Carson Beck held him first and then made a dang good throw over there where only his guy could catch it. I know I said I was going to give you a starter at every other position outside of quarterback, but there is no primary back at the University of Georgia under Kirby Smart. You're going to see a 2-headed attack at least, maybe sometimes 2, or a main feature, and then 2, 3, and 4 guys fighting for that secondary spot. But here we go. Assumably the starter, headed into September will be Zamir White, right? Zoo. Say it with me now. All right, so here's a look at his best run of the season, even though he fumbles at the end. This is very first game of the season, rather, against Vanderbilt. And you're going to see a good little jump cut and a quick explosiveness that maybe didn't show later on towards the year, maybe some fatigue. Now, what I will say is, look, that's good backside vision, right? You're taught as a tailback, they're running inside zone right here. These guys are on this stretch. Look, boom, boom. They're all on this track right here. Take a lateral 45-degree step upfield, not lateral. We got to take 45, right? 6 inches out, 6 inches up is what the coach used to always tell us, okay? So, boom, boom. Pitter-patter, we're working this track right here. Now, this tailback is taught in this odd or even front to press this read right here, the number one down lineman past the center play side. Press the read. If it's not there, if they're not winning on the point of the attack, bounce it backside this way. It's exactly what Zamir White does. Great job reading your keys because Solomon Kinley's beating play side right there. Let's bounce back and let's cut away. Now, the only thing is, this high school Zamir White, number one tailback in the country right now, as he's about to break these 2 tackles, at that point right there, high school Zamir White does not get caught, nor does he fumble this football. But there's all great signs right here until they fumble the football. And, Bulldog Nation should be very, very excited to see number 3 run the football next year, and he's going to run it hard as he always does. But I think there's still a lot more room to grow. And when I look at this guy, I still see, glimpses of the nation's top back, but I can still see the injury, right? We've seen 2 knee injuries, and, credit to him. It's a miracle he's even bounced back to be even what he is. And he's still one of the SEC's top backs. But he's going to be the primary role. I'll show you who I think is going to be the secondary role here in just a second. As a former offensive lineman, one thing I always liked my tailbacks to do, or one thing I always liked blocking for, or a tailback always liked blocking for, was a guy that always knew, how to set up blocks. Look, most high school tailbacks, they're always focused, or they know they can pretty much just beat everybody with their own personal abilities, and they'll just run away from people. But when you get a good tailback like Kendall Milton that runs with patience and runs with good vision and knows how to set up blocks, it just screams and pops right off the tape. Because watch it right here. He can run away from folks now, especially at the high school level. Even despite what some would say is a slow 40 for an SEC back. But just look at the nuanced running ability that he shows. Watch how it's touch and go, right? It's that Le'Veon Bell style running where it's not just all full gas. Look at the move he puts on this safety right here. This guy's no scrub. Okay, the hesitation. The little hezzy move, right? This one right here, boop, 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 out. Okay, and he's helping his receiver out here who's trying to fight for inside leverage, but he's setting that block up too. Okay, and watch the next clip. The next clip is filled with what we talk about, the ability to run away from guys. But look at this. Watch him press these blocks. Look at that. He's not running up his blocker's butt right here. He's not going to run this dude down. He's going to gear down a little bit, notice the space, occupy the space, and then allow this guy right here to get to his block and get onto his block, okay? And then run away from this guy, who I'm going to tell you right now, that guy's not a, collegiate football player. No offense to that guy. I hope he's not watching. But that guy's not a D1 athlete, obviously. But most of these guys aren't, right? Most high school football players aren't. But this guy is, and he's still running with patience. He's still running with nuance. He's still running like a veteran and a smart back who knows how to run the football, not just run. You know what I'm saying? He's a good running back. It's like we talk about in baseball, where you're not just a thrower, you're a pitcher, right? You know how to throw the fastball. You know how to throw the changeup. You know how to spot the curveball. These are things you got to be able to do as a tailback too. It can't just all be gas. It can't be flame throwing all the time. Okay, you got to have some nuance to your game to win. All right, when I watch too much of one guy's film, like I have George Pickens, even dating back to his days at Hoover, I tend to say large hyperbolic statements like it's the best tape I've ever seen from a young receiver. And honestly, I really want to say that every time I watch it. And the more and more I watch it, the more and more I'm comfortable with the statement. And it's because of plays like this. They're just absurd. It just makes no sense, and you're going to get a really good look at it right here. And he'll make another one in the SEC championship game that I'm going to show you. But look, man, hands are out of this world, right? You didn't see him drop a ball all season at the University of Georgia as a true freshman. But not only are the hands great, he knows his hands are great, right? He trusts them. He's worked over and over, and he's got God-given abilities when it comes to catching the football and securing the ball. But watch this. It's this right here. Look at his eyes. He doesn't have to look at the football like other young receivers, and we'll look at it from the other angle again. But he doesn't have to look at the ball. He can do things like check where he is on the football field and get his eyes down and make sure he's in bounds. Okay? It looks like he's in slow motion. And look at the veteran move. This is a guy who's Tony toe tap, right? This is a guy who's worked on toe tap drill. Watch how, dead the body goes. Look, it just looks like he's going into dead man's pose, right? For those of you who do yoga. Right here, once he puts his feet down, he understands he's got to go dead because he doesn't want his body to continue drifting this way and drag his toes out of bounds. He's got to get 2 feet in. That's good on Sundays. But look at the eyes. Again, watch his head movement. Boom. Right down to his feet. And then tuck the football right at the end. Watch him tuck the football. That's a guy who knows everything. Look, that's literally what they teach you. Catch the tip, rotate it in, high and tight like Tiki. Look at that. This is from an 18-year-old true freshman in his first year of college football. This is that clip from the SEC championship game that I promised you. This is the same kind of phenomenal sideline work type stuff. Get a false start here or a jump from the defense converted to an automatic go for Pickens down at the bottom on 4th and 10. And my God, son. I want you to take a look at the very end, how he just, at this point right here, he knows he's caught this football. It's just like what we saw against Arkansas State in the last clip. He gets 2 in here. This is why he's going to be a first-round pick, because he's good on Sundays. Look at that. This is why I say, man, every time I turn it on and every time I look at it further, it just more and more confirms that he is, if not the best young wideout I've ever covered or ever looked at or ever watched tape on. But it's just, man, if he's not, he's damn near close. He's got to be. And here's another look at it. CBS rolls right by it. I know they're in fast pace. Watch the feet. Watch how quick they are down there. It's hard to see all that in slow motion. Pickens makes it look easy. It's great stuff. You saw the head down again like we showed you in the last clip. Take a look at his head movement. It's great, man. It's just absolutely great. Just like last season, Georgia will probably be in the market for a veteran or a graduate transfer at the wide receiver position. One common name is Tariq Black here, the former four-star recruit out of Connecticut area. Obviously played a handful of years up there at Michigan. And, he's a big-bodied target, right? 6'3", 215 pounds, and he's a fluid athlete. Watch him run right here. He's going to torch Florida. It's a blown coverage, obviously. They're in some type of zone, and nobody picks him up, and he catches an easy touchdown. But nonetheless, you see the guy move in open space. You can see what he can do, at least with his stride-wise. He's a good athlete. And, again, he's a big guy, right? There's another look at it, and he still fights through a tackle there at the end and comes down with the football. Here's a look at him against Penn State. And again, another busted coverage. But again, that's him running by guys more than anything. But the most important thing right here is just like we just saw with George Pickens. Watch him track the football at this point. He almost looks like a center fielder. And then he ends up securing that ball on the way down. Just a guy who's played college football, right? You got 4 young wide receivers, young talented wide receivers coming in there for the University of Georgia. Kirby Smart's likely to go out and get a veteran guy like Tariq Black, who can do these types of things already and proven he can do them at the collegiate level. A veteran guy that can do things like this, right? Get out, go run an out route there at about 12 yards, snap your head around, catch the football against off-man coverage, and just, be a veteran presence in the locker room and show guys how to, be a veteran route runner with that big body and do positive things like we saw Lawrence Cager do this year, but hopefully just stay healthy. Now, just like I said, every time I turn on the George Pickens tape, I would just want to say he's the best young receiver I've ever seen. Every time I turn on Marcus Rosemy tape, all I ever want to say is that's George Pickens Jr. or George Pickens light. And I don't mean that as a slight to him. It's just I don't want to give the expectations of number one just yet. But I'm going to show you two clips right here back to back on his highlight tape, and they're going to remind you of number one in the red and black. This one in particular looks identical to a play George Pickens scored on this year. You're going to see Marcus just catch the stop route, right? He's just running a little 5-yard stop. And look at all this. He's got 1, 2, 3, and I believe this guy's going to get on it. 4 defenders. This looks just like Missouri, George Pickens' stretch touchdown. Take a look at how he finishes. Dives and stretches out, puts the ball over the goal line. Take a look at it from the top. Just going to simple route, right? Simple route. Everybody can run this. Everybody can do this. Everybody can catch that ball. But can they do this? Are they good enough, and are they big enough and strong enough to do this? And now this next clip is going to remind you of GP as well. Okay? Marcus hit the top, obviously, Huddle helping us out. But watch him win this 50-50 ball and come down with positional awareness as well and get 2 feet inbounds right here. Again, good on Sundays, right? Bring that ball down and an easy touchdown right here. Look, Marcus may not get into the starting role very early at Georgia, but I, like George Pickens, believe number 81, Marcus Rosemy, will be making an impact as a true freshman. All right, another one of my favorite young receivers, and I have to put him in this thread, even though he may not start, may not get a lot of early playing time, but I believe, maybe midway through the season, he's going to be making an impact, similar to what we saw Dominique Blaylock and George Pickens do this season. People forget, it took a couple games before George Pickens was actually the primary receiver, and even when Cager was in there, he wasn't. So Kirby likes to trust older guys, even gave Matt Landers, ample opportunities to start. But I think if Jermaine Burton's going to be a dynamic and a dominant receiver at the next level, he's going to have to do it from the slot. He's not your prototypical 6'4", outside wide receiver X or Y. He's more of a slot winner, and he's going to show you all the things that it's going to take to win in the slot in college right here on this clip, even though he's starting outside. So what you're going to see right here, he's just going to find open space, even though his ball's already in the air, and watch him adjust to the ball as soon as it's thrown behind him. Watch him pluck it right out of the air, right there. Boom, plucked it. And then now, once we win on the inside, once we're in the slot, we got to make guys miss in traffic and finish hard and try to score, right? Again, and you're going to, we'll run it all the way back. You can see him. I mean, he's got the ability to do this, but you can do this in the slot too. We can run slot seams like we talked about earlier with Carson Beck. We can do that kind of stuff. Okay, and he can win outside. He's nuanced enough. He's a very good and perfect route runner at this, as perfect of a route runner as you can be at this age. But this is what the stuff he's going to have to do at the next level, I think, to really play. And it's win from the slot like we're talking about. And I'm excited to see him do it because I know he's a great route runner. If you watch what I did on Twitter with him, I mean, just runs routes with the best of them. He's got great feet, and you're going to see it on a play right here. Watch his short area quickness. Watch him dead leg a couple guys. Boom, whap, whap, whap. Okay? He's got it in spades. Look, making guys miss. Boom, left and right. Now I'm finishing hard. That's another thing he does. Finishes hard once he's got the football. In traffic. See, he's a good ball catcher in traffic. Honestly, it's going to sound like a slight to him, and he's a little more explosive than him, but I think he looks a lot like Hunter Renfrow to me. All right, with Eli Wolf and Charlie Warner both gone and off to, separate ventures like we mentioned earlier, man, this guy right here, Darnell Washington, one of the more intriguing football players you'll ever see in terms of a recruit. And I'm going to show you two clips in particular here. The first one is going to show you that despite the fact that he's 6'7", despite the fact that he's about 250 so odd pounds, and, more of an athletic freak than anybody on this field, what you're going to see is he still runs good routes. He's still a smart and savvy football player, and here's what I'm going to show you, okay? Look, he knows he's running this route right here. He knows this from the snap, obviously. He also knows that one of these guys has to run with him across the field. So once he finds him right there, he turned his head around, found him. This guy's obviously way smaller than him, and he knows he doesn't have to necessarily create space off of him. But watch him press into this defender and then snap into this off-breaking route into here, across this over route right here, and watch him create space immediately. Wham! Right there. You see how how much room he got off of this guy. And again, this is a guy in high school right now that doesn't have to create this because he's so much bigger and so much better than this guy. But guess what? In college, he will have to. Okay? And then, of course, you'll see the great athleticism jump and then the finish. And then I'm just going to let the next clip roll. Here's all you need to know. This is a design screen to a 6'7" guy. And watch what happens. We're going to let it speak for itself. Runs over one guy, steps over another, and just burns down the field for a touchdown. I'm going to tell you right now, this guy is going to be so, and of course he can do that, but this guy is going to be so exciting to watch at the next level. I mean, the most intriguing offensive player I've ever had the pleasure of watching on tape. And they just don't make them like this, man. They don't. There are very few human beings. If he's not a first-round pick, I would be shocked. All right, folks, we're on to the big heavies. I saved them for last just to give you, so you know I had a lot of energy towards the end of this one. But, assuming Ben Cleveland is healthy and playing next fall, I don't expect that much turnover in terms of like a new starter or a guy in there that's not played yet. I mean, we're going to project it at this point as Jamar Esau going to get the attempt to start, or the first crack to start at right tackle. We're going to slide Ben Cleveland in at right guard. Trey Hill's going to stay at center. You see him right there. The left guard, Justin Shafer, I believe, is going to get the first chance to start this spring. He had a neck injury all year, so we'll have a little bit of tough time going back to Notre Dame to find his footage. And then the only really open slot, man, is left tackle, and we'll get to it, we'll sort it out as we get to it. But we're going to start with my guy, Jamar Esau. His first crack at getting, a start at right tackle here, and what a, job and task he had on his hands, for most part of the game with James Lynch right here. One of the very few, take a shot at the Big 12 here, one of the very few good to great, if not great, defenders in the Big 12 this year. And this is what I believe Jamari's, already prepared to do in the SEC is run block at tackle. You're going to see him dig Lynch out here. Just the arm toss. This is how big and strong number 69 is. Just the arm toss to rag Lynch out. And look, this may not look like a lot, but you got to stop getting used to watching, high school offensive lineman tape. College offensive linemen aren't going to barrel and flatback guys 12 yards down the field, okay? Like I just told you, this guy's a really good football player. So if you can win positioning, if you can get technically your butt in the hole or get your butt to the back and basically put your body between this guy and the ball carrier, odds are you're going to win the rep, right? It's all about hand positioning and foot placement as an offensive lineman. And what you're going to see is Jamari do just that, get James Lynch on his outside here to, force this ball back in where it's destined to go. This next clip, however, I'm going to show you is maybe where he's not so strong. All right, here's Lynch again going against Sawyer. Here we are on 1st and 10. You're going to get a standard drop back pass. And this is where I don't quite think Jamari's prepared yet to, be a dominant right tackle or anything of the sort in the SEC just yet. But he's got all offseason to work on this. And it's just the quickness in his pass set, man. When you watch Andrew Thomas pass set, it's pop, 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 right? It's real quick. And I hope I didn't blow your ears up there, but it's pop, 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 right? The feeder, they sound like that. Boom, 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 real quick. Watch Jamari's. They kind of just, they're there, but he's not gaining a lot of ground. And he almost gets ran by here by a big guy in James Lynch, who's normally just a straight power rusher. But he's even given a speed move here. And check Jamari's head. It's what we call a bit of a leaner. Watch him lean in right there. Boom, head. You see the head dip down? That's a bad positioning for an offensive lineman. I'll try to see if I can stop it for you right there. That's a bad positioning for an offensive lineman. If you see how his feet are still crisscrossed, you want to have that inside foot forward, outside foot backwards stance all throughout your pass set. And I think this is where Jamari can get better. And that's what we're here for, to get better. Alrighty, assuming he's back and eligible, obviously missed the Sugar Bowl due to some academic issues, but Ben Cleveland, we believe, will get the start at right guard, or the chance to start at right guard. Obviously, going into spring ball, all of these jobs are available as they are, at every Division I and Power 5 program. But number 74, what I think he's best at, despite how big and massive he is and how powerful he is, I really do think he is better at pass blocking and pass setting than he actually is at run blocking. And a lot of it has to do with how damn strong he is and how powerful his base is, right? We call it an anchor in offensive line. Watch here how this guy's this 3 technique is trying to drive straight through Ben's chest and run what we call a bull rush, right? Trying to run through you like a bull, okay? He's head down. You see that? Head right into Ben's chest. And at this point, this is called anchoring down, right? Split your feet, and you're just kind of hop set is what they call it. You're giving ground but giving ground slowly, right? Offensive line is the only position in the world where these 5 guys are worse athletes than these 4 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 guys, I can't count. Sometimes stupider too. These 5 guys are less athletic than these 5 guys, yet they're asked to go backwards to stop these guys from going forwards. It's a really complex thing, which means you got to be powerful like this in the SEC especially. And look, he's holding this guy off with one hand, okay? I think Ben still has room to gain in his run blocking, but I think the pass blocking's almost NFL caliber already because of the base and the anchor at the guard position. Now, he can get ran around. They can run the angle on him every once in a while, the short hoop as they call it from the 3 technique. But you're not going to bull rush big number 74, and I think that's what gets him the start next year heading into the season. All right, so at the center position, I do believe Trey Hill's going to get the opening day start, or at least the chance and opportunity to, like we've talked about with all these offensive linemen. That being said, Cedric Van Pran, the 2020 commit that is yet to sign his letter of intent, is an absolute freak of nature. Got some of the best tape I've ever seen. He takes guys to the bus. It's like watching The Blind Side. If you haven't seen that guy's tape, go watch it. That's pretty interesting. But one thing I wanted to point out here on Trey, we're going to get to some other clips of him, but this is just a really nice move for offensive lineman if you can ever learn this one. Look, he's caught this guy leaning at this point. He's just going to snatch him down on his face, real quick pull, and he's going to end up on his face is this nose tackle. And then once he's there, guys, once we got a pancake, let's let everybody in the stadium know we've got a pancake, okay? Let him know, let his mom know, let his coach know when he gets to watch tape on Sunday. Okay, on to the next clip of Trey. Trey's one of the more frustrating guys I've seen on tape, at least at the offensive line position for Georgia, because he does things like, a real savvy move like the last clip we just showed you, and then he shows physical dominance at times like this clip I'm about to show you now, and then other times there's some areas he's really got to work on. And sometimes he just gets beat. But this play right here is insane. Okay, look, you got an a nose tackle right here over your play side shoulder. Okay, we're going to call his play side shoulder his right shoulder, so his far shoulder from where we're looking right now. Okay, he's a right-handed center, and this nose tackle is lined up over his right shoulder, which means at the point of contact right there, your hand's in between your legs as a center. Okay, for those who don't know that. All right, and now his position or his assignment is to blow this nose tackle out of this hole this way, and watch how much movement and this is early in the game now, watch how much movement and how far he moves this nose tackle, this SEC nose tackle. This is tough and good stuff right here from number 55, Trey Hill. Now this next clip is one of the most important areas of improvement for Trey Hill as a center, and it's one of the harder blocks as an offensive lineman, and we're going to get to it right now. All right, we talked about combo blocking on offensive line. This is called a COG, right? A center and the offensive guard, C-O-G, COG, okay? This is a backside shade, and that means he's in the backside gap. Okay, we got a 3 technique over here, which means he's on the outside shoulder of the guard. And these two, the center and the play side guard, are working a COG to the point. This guy right here. Now, the only problem is, if you're going to be this center, Trey Hill, we've got to get flat enough to where we're not doing this, which is where he's just pushing the back of the defender into Cade Mays. Okay, you're not really helping your guy out. Now, he gets there late. Now watch, I'll show you. He gets there now. You see, now he's gotten to the point where he's arced enough to get inside this guy and push him this way instead of just pushing him down the line of scrimmage, because pushing him down the line of scrimmage doesn't really do us any good. We want to dig him out and move up towards the linebacker, because guess what? He's sitting right there free in the open gap. Now, DeAndre Swift, as usual, makes a great cut. But if there's one area of improvement Trey Hill can get better on, and it'll really, really help the run game for the University of Georgia. It's helping on this combination and reaching and getting to this 3 technique. Now, this 3 technique right here, his name's Javon Kinlaw, and just remember it because he's going to be a first-round draft pick. So this guy's pretty damn good too, just like everybody else in the SEC. But if you're going to get to that guy who's 6'6", 315 pounds, and runs a short shuttle like a fullback or a tight end, if you're going to get to that guy, you've got to take a better track, which means you've got to get deeper. I know we're running inside zone, but you might need to take outside zone footwork, which for you guys, watch the cursor over here. Inside zone footwork is boom, boom, like that. Outside zone footwork is more like this, trying to get outside the shoulder of him instead of boom, 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 like an inside run, inside zone, like this, 45-degree angle, whereas outside zone is more of a 90-degree angle. Sometimes you got to adapt your track to accommodate for who you're going up against. This is something Trey can get better on. On to the next one. If you were concerned where the mean streak might come from the offensive line next year, now with Cade Mays gone and Isaiah Wilson off to the NFL, I think it might come from number 54. Look, Justin Shafer is a guy who this past season, was down with a neck injury for the most part. And just watch how physical and watch how quickly he attacks this inside cutoff is what they call this. We're just trying to drive our head inside what my coach called the V of the neck, which is really hard to explain on film, but basically just understand it's the neck, basically. You're trying to drive through the neck of the defender as he's trying to drive this way. We're trying to cut him off this way, okay? So watch Justin Shafer. Watch the impact as soon as he hits this guy, okay? Wham! See him resetting the line of scrimmage back here by himself, okay? Trey Hill's in there as center, but he's focused on this back block over here. Okay, look at the movement and the physicality this guy's playing with. He just got inserted into this football game. Halfway through the second quarter, Solomon McKinley goes down with an ankle injury. And here comes Justin Shafer playing balls to the wall like his hair's on fire. And this is just what I think the young man is going to be bringing to the table next year. And by the way, by my count, this was the last time Jake Fromm kept the football. So it was a while ago. But nonetheless, Justin Shafer going to bring a level of physicality back to the offensive line now with Cade Mays gone, I believe. So word out of Athens all year was that Xavier Truss played well and practiced well all season, and Warren McClendon practiced well during the Sugar Bowl practices, and he got some PT at right tackle during the Sugar Bowl. But for my money, they're all young. I mean, they're all young tackles at the University of Georgia, outside of Jamar Esau, who technically really isn't, a starting tackle yet. He's going to learn to play his way into that role. But if there's a guy that I believe is going to be able to play and play early, it's Tate Ratledge, man. He's a big bully, and he does it at the single A level. And here he is in the the Adidas All-American game, and he's bullying other 4- and 5-star recruits. Look at him right there. I mean, he's just putting guys on their back. And I don't know if that guy was expecting the smoke, but he got the smoke from number 50 from the 706 right there in Tate Ratledge. Look, he's holding his own against some of the best in the country at his age group. And it might have been a question heading into college, certainly for me. I played single-A football in high school, so I understand the talent gap, especially going from that to the SEC. So he may not be ready just yet, but he is a bully, and he's a big, strong boy who's competitive, man. He's always trying to get better. We're going to take another look here in a second. So 6'6.5", 6'7", about 315, 325 pounds, give or take, depending on, which holiday season it is. So how well does he move? Is he quick enough? Is he athletic enough to play SEC tackle and get out and stretch and reach guys? Well, I think here's your answer right here in this Adidas All-American game. Look, he's fighting to get that edge against that guy. That guy is a supreme athlete against number 50 right here. But the effort and even the technique at this point right here, I love this. He's trying to throw his play side hip into the equation, right? You'll see him here. I'll try to pause it for you. Right there. He's trying to fight to throw this hip upfield to shut this guy's, trajectory off this way. And once he doesn't get it, he continues to run his feet and keep on the block. Most high school guys at this level, especially unathletic ones, would fall on their face at this point right here. Not Tate. Tate keeps running his feet and keeps this guy from getting in on the play, tailback over to get out there and reach and get the edge. Great play, great feet. I think he's going to be a really, really good football player at the college level, and I'm honestly excited to see him. All right, that's going to be our film session for tonight. I know it was a little bit long, but it was long for me too. Trust me, I had to find all those clips and break them down. But if you guys haven't already, go check out the last video we did. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button for me, and share it, man. If you ever want to share it to anybody, go ahead and do so. And while you're at it, man, while you're supporting the cause, head on over to Sports Illustrated's Bulldog Maven over there at si.com/college/Georgia. I greatly appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm going to be doing these as long as you guys like them. So as long as the feedback keeps coming, I'll keep spending the time and putting in the effort to get these things done. Appreciate you guys for watching. Y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.